Okay, we shall commence the meeting. Welcome to the general meeting of the Toyota Land Cruiser Club. I am Bob Fife, TLCC President. On my left are Colin Richards, Vice President, and Alan Kidd, Club Secretary. And on my right is Mark Willett, Club Treasurer. Are there any visitors or new members present tonight? It would appear not. There are some people here I haven't seen for quite some time, so maybe we consider them visitors or new members. And I'm not picking on you, Alf, but I haven't seen you for a while, mate. Okay, so we don't have to actually welcome any members. So present as per the attendance book. Apologies, Chris and Marie Taylor, David and Heidi Rowley, John Kenny, and Sandra and Peter Kearns. Are there any others that somebody knows of that we haven't picked? John Fermano. I think he's always an apology, isn't he? But he's had nothing to be apologetic about. Okay, the minutes from the previous meeting have been posted at the back of the room. I propose that the minutes of the previous general meeting held on Monday 4 July 2022 be moved. Will we have a mover, please? Norma. And a seconder. Phil. Announcements by the President. I would like to thank Colin Richards for organising last month's guest speakers from Transport New South Wales, one of the more interesting of recent times. And all this while Colin was flooded in and was not even able to be here, so well done, Colin. Our thanks go out, as always, to our Coolandilee Working Bee crew, but I would also like to thank, and in no particular order, and I hope I don't miss anybody, Gary and Elkie Cooper, David and Heidi Rowley, Bob Anderson and Shirley Trelaw, Barry Lanigan and Hazel. I haven't met Hazel yet, but Hazel was with Barry. John Kenny and Gordon White and his truck and machine. Willow Glen for the Willow Glen Working Bee. As a follow-up to that statement, and in the interest of perhaps some of us, bi-monthly, by definition, can mean every second month or twice a month. I've always wondered about that, and I looked it up. So much for the ease of the English language. So you're probably going okay there, Lutz. You don't have to worry about it. A reminder to any members who have paid for the upcoming first aid course: have you filled in the registration form and sent it out? I sent it out to you on the 24th of July. It must be filled in and submitted to be able to receive a certificate. I'm not seeing anybody here, I think, that who comes under that category, but yep, we got somebody doing it who hasn't sent in their registration? Obviously not. As you would all have noticed, Richard and Recce are filming the meeting for later streaming to our members from our website 1 week after the date of the general meeting. We have a guest speaker tonight, which will be Club 4x4. Vice President's report. Colin.
Yeah, g'day, thanks Bob. I was hoping to have had two designs for the plaques for the memorial down at Coolandilee for you tonight, but unfortunately when the USB key got plugged into the computer at work, it sounded and went dunk dunk, but yeah, could not find the drive, so unfortunately I couldn't bring them along. I've involved sending off multiple emails to the brand managers for all the different defence departments. The Air Force have got back to me and said, yep, not a problem, you can use our crest, and provided some really high quality graphics. I've still to hear back from the Navy and the Army, and the brand manager for the Defence Crest, which is the Air Force Eagle, Army Swords and the Navy anchor, have said no, so we can't use their emblem. But as soon as I hear back from the other two branches of the Defence Force, hopefully I can then get some quotes and everything together for the plaques, and then we can start designing and getting this, spending the $10,000 that we were granted. So that's where I'm up to with that. That's it. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Colin. Next we have a Treasurer's report from Mark Willick.
Thank you, Bob, and good evening, everyone. July was an expensive month, so we've been able to spend some of our money. We spent a total of $38,500 in a month. Sounds like a lot, but doesn't go far. It cost us $10,000 for our insurances, for our member insurances, public liability, sickness and accident, directors and officers insurances. We bought a $5,000 shipping container for Willow Glen to help store some bits and pieces that we bought. We bought a block splitter for Willow Glen to ease off having to use the fire, block splitting. We published the magazine for just over $10,000. We hired the hall. We paid out the $2,800, which was money that we've already received in for the first aid course. We paid our the ASQA fee for being an RTO. So yeah, it was quite an expensive month. So in the same month, we only got in $3,500 worth of membership fees and contributions towards the first aid course, and we got a refund of our GST of $3,200. So all up, as at the end of July, we have $362,000 in the bank. So if anyone's got any questions about any of that and how we spend it, sing out and have a chat after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Do we have a mover for carrying the Treasurer's report? And a seconder? Thank you. Education report. John Kenny is not here tonight, but I can at least speak about the July driver training course, which was successfully run with unfortunately only 14 new members completing out of 22 originally booked. As a most trusting type of person, I'm sure this could not have been because of anticipated cold conditions expected at Willow Glen. People wouldn't do that, would they? So anyhow, that was disappointing. Promotions, Andrew.
Firstly, I'd just like to welcome both Kaylin and Dave from Club 4x4. I guess I've known Kaylin now since they were, an insurance minnow, these little guys. And I guess I've had my Land Cruiser insured with them for, pretty much as long as I've owned it. And since I met my wife, we've got a Hilux and a Land Cruiser, and soon to be maybe with a new announcement he'll make today, where you can insure your passenger car. So really good guys to talk to, and I guess they've been supporting us as a club and the challenge for a long time. So on behalf of the club, we appreciate that support over many years. So thanks, Kaylin, and welcome to the team, Dave. The other thing I'd also like to mention, I'm not sure if people have seen the news of late, very tragic. We had another death in relation to a snatch strap which was hooked up to a vehicle in the incorrect way. So I just encourage you, stop and think, for wherever you're going to hook your vehicle up to get it recovered out of anything, whether it's sand, whether it's mud. If you think you don't have rated recovery points, you don't have the right piece of equipment, just don't do it. There's quite a good video which I'll share. A lot of you know, like, I guess a bit of a four-drive personality, guy called Mad Matt. He puts quite a powerful message across, and I guess, explains the risks. I guess it's one of the most dangerous things we as four-wheel drivers do. Snatch straps, I mean, if you don't know how to use one or you've forgotten how to use it, I'm sure Bob will be happy to take a phone call, or any one of us, any one of the driver trainers will happily take a phone call and explain to you, I mean, how do you use your snatch strap correctly. So that's my bit of advice, because, it's a sport we love to do, and to lose someone again in that tragic circumstance, if you saw the photos, it was quite tragic. I haven't announced this on the club website because I wanted to announce it at the meeting. I'll be running an Abercrombie trip on the 20th and 21st of August. I will take people from the meeting here first tonight, depending on how many people I have to assist me to run it. I'll take initially 10, but I'll probably, if I had another trip leader, I'll take up to 20. So if you'd like to go, let me know before I send it to Ian tomorrow. So Abercrombie, it may be we stay there, we may stay at another site close to there as well. I haven't worked that out, but that's the date. No, I don't. That's for camping, I think, but I don't think anything stops you from driving. There's another site I use now, which is Bagara Dam, which is on the other side. You go outside the park, you camp there, and then go back in through the park the next day. So, yeah. Another big event we got coming up is the Sydney 4x4 Adventure Show. Looking for some people there to assist for basically a course of 3 days. I think I've got 4 volunteers so far, and I also need some people to help set up the club stand probably on the Thursday. So the dates of that show are the 9th, 10th, 11th of September. This year there won't be an actual driving component because that's turned into a car park, but we'll have a couple of Toyota vehicles, a 300 series, and another Toyota vehicle will be on the club stand on display, courtesy of Toyota. TLCC News, I have a lot of copies, a lot of boxes of the TLCC News. Sue's taken some tonight, Rob's taken some. If you want some more, I could either have some on the northern side of Sydney, or I can drop some on the southern side of Sydney. Just let me know if you want a box or two that you can distribute around certain places. We've got quite an access due to COVID of magazines. So everyone should have both got the July-August edition of the TLCC News. So Chris is putting together the September-October edition. We're going through a review phase at the moment of actually the printing cost of the magazine. It doesn't mean that we're going to lose the magazine, it just means we're just making sure that we're getting value for money because we've had a significant price increase. Content, we're always chasing for a bit of content. So if you've been on a club trip report, you have something interesting, a fit out on your vehicle and stuff like that, we'll put a bit of an article in on Club 4x4 in the next edition. And also, as Colin said, we're always looking for a few new guest speakers. So if you have any ideas, drop myself or Colin a line, and we're happy to follow that up. I was at a show on the weekend, and I have a couple of leads out of that, which will be followed up as well. And that's basically it from me. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Andrew. Social report we do not have because we don't have a social. Oh no, Sue just won't go away, will she? She's going to have a try.
Despite the club not having a social director, there's plenty of social activities planned for the rest of the year. Stuart Robertson's going to look after the Halloween weekend. Debbie Oliver and her husband Mark are going to take care of the children's Christmas party, and Chris Taylor's going to MC the adults party at the Revesby Workers Club. So all those are in hand. When you see other members, remind them that there's lots of social function, and Ian Moggs has got the October long weekend under control with a Willow Glen 4x4 not so challenging, with lots of fun driving competitions to happen and food. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sue. Whoops.
Sue?
Sorry, what was the question? The bookings will, for all of these events, will open 6 weeks beforehand, and there will be an email go out and a link to the website, or you can go straight to the website, but 6 weeks before.
Thank you very much, Sue. Land Manager, Brian.
Evening, everyone. On the land front, last weekend we had a working bee down at Willow Glen, which was managed by John Kenny and Dave Rowley in my absence, to which I thank them. There's a number of driver training track repair works being done, fallen trees cleared. They seem to be ongoing activities between rain and wind softening the ground and things falling over, and quite a bit of general maintenance. There's still some driver training tracks work to do down there, and we will get to that in due course as soon as it gets dry enough to get some heavy machinery into those areas to manage the water flow. So we just need to stop people doing rain dances. Next Willow Glen Working Bee is September. There's 2 projects there we're focusing on. That's the replacement of the shed fascia, as that's getting a bit tardy, and giving various areas around the shed and toilet block and the handrails a coat of paint or varnish as appropriate. Coolandilly, July Working Bee was quite successful. The water, again, that had come up had done quite a bit of damage to the access track, which has all been repaired thanks to Gordon's machine. Water pipes up to where we pump up to the tanks had all been washed away and broken, so they were retrieved and replaced and back in the ground. Well, we've got to put them back in the ground yet, it's just laying on the top, so hopefully no more rain will break that before we can get a chance to bury it. At least with all the water, it left all our beaches down there, and plus left some more sand. So at the rate things are going, Bob and his team won't need to go to up to Stockton. They can come down to Coolanilly and do their sand driving. We're also doing some improvements to the shed. We're putting that canvas doorway's been replaced with a proper wooden doorway, and there's also a doorway going in next to the kitchen to allow access out the back of the shed easier. Currently the phone out there is out of order. I'm working with our provider on that, and I'll be down there early Friday to link up a PC and hopefully talk to them and get them to check out the configuration. So hopefully that should be running again this weekend. And talking of this weekend, there's also a working bee again. So if you're at a loose end and want to come down, please do. We'll find something for you to do and get you involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. Membership report, Robin.
Okay, so we've had 7 new applications for new members. We currently are now at 859 members for the club. So we are steadily growing, and I'm constantly getting new applications, so it's keep going. Thanks.
Thank you, Robin. Just a little addition to that, what we're finding at the moment, as opposed to when we were back in COVID, we're sort of keeping up with the new members with training. September's full, but there are new members joining and they can still get into October, so it's not too bad. And then we have November, and we just hope, for the driver trainers' sake, that we don't need to do a December one again this year. I mean, we want the new members, but we hope they'll wait till January. Four-wheel drive activities, Ian.
I think Bob should take pity on Paul Recchi and reorder us so that we start with people at the one height, doesn't matter which, and then move to the other height so that he's not up and back and forth. Okay, we've not had any new trips added in the last couple of months, but we've had a few trips run. We had two groups went out to the Simpson Desert, one out to see Lake Eyre and the Flinders area. Lake Eyre had water apparently. And we're hoping to see some interesting trip reports from them. They've only just got back, so we haven't had time for them to get them done. The copy I sent to Alan only 2 days ago said that there was a trip coming up to Burke and Wills, the Burke and Wills route, and that there were spaces, but that's since filled. So even though my report does say it's full, it's got spaces, it is now full as of this morning. And that was because we sent an email blast out to tell people that the date had changed because of flooding issues, actually. And it's all gone. September, we've got a Canning stock route trip and the Anne Bedell Highway. I have a suspicion that there's spaces available on those because I haven't got it marked down here as being full. The trip leading course that we'd had planned is being delayed till early 2023 due to timing issues, logistics. But remember, you don't actually have to do a course to take a trip. You just have to plan a trip that you're going to do yourself and then invite a few people along. That's about it.
Thank you, Ian. General business from members, and I can see Elkie lurking over there. And Sue.
You're a hanger-oner.
He's hiding. I'm happy to introduce the winter jackets. We finally got them into stock. Everyone is suffering from the supply issues, including our clothing supplier. So just to reiterate, they are 100% polyester and waterproof to 6 metres. Now, I had no idea what that meant, so I had to ask. And apparently what they do is they stretch a piece of the fabric over a frame, and then they have a tube and they see how high the water is before it starts to actually leak. And so they say it's at 6 metres. Diamond quilted poly filling inside, sealed seams, removable hood with a neck protector. Thank you, Sue, you're doing a great job. Adjustable hem with toggles, 3 external zip-up pockets, 3 internal pockets, a classic unisex fit, and embroidered with the club logo, of course. Now, there's 4 colours, and I have a sizing range. So the sizes are, we've got extra small all the way up to 5XL. There are, in fact, 2 other very small sizes if you want to put any on your kids, but I think the demographic is largely that we won't have any small children. So this colour here is called Royal and has already been extremely popular this evening. Sue's got one, and there's a couple more already been sold. That's what's called the Army, for obvious reasons. That's basic black and Royal Navy. So as I said, I've got a sizing range. If you wanted one tonight, if you find a jacket in your size and in the colour that you like, you can take it away tonight, provided of course you pay for it before you go, at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Sue. Oh, sorry, it's 115. Also, they're available on the website, but you, of course, have to pay for postage if you buy them that way. Thank you.
Thank you, Elkie. I just thought I'd add a caveat to what you said. Because these jackets have this 6 metre limit, they're great for Willow Glen. Coolandilly, if it's flooded, no way. So you only use it down there when it's not in flood. Any other general business from members? General business from committee. Colin? Alan? Mark? Brian? Andrew? Well, that's good trivia. 71st birthday. Oh, Land Cruiser or Toyota Land Cruiser? Us, TLCC. Oh, sorry, okay, because it was 70th last year. Wow. Well, everybody want to congratulate Toyota for 71 years? Then we have Ian, Robin. Now, we have the guest speaker now. Guest speakers, please. You want to hop up there? Okay. You're going to be okay with a wanderer, Richard?
Oh, I'm being filmed. Okay, I'll try not to move too much. Guys, thank you so much for having me back. Andrew, really wonderful words, really appreciate that, mate. I had to stop and have a really good think about when we did start talking and when this affiliation started. So Club 4x4 will turn 7 this October. I'm pretty sure we started talking 6.5 years ago. So a long-standing, fantastic affiliation. I'm very, very thankful to have built it and really wonderful to be back. So thank you very much for having us here today. Thanks, mate. Thank you. Four-wheel drive clubs, in my eyes, are really the heartland of four-wheel driving, and I've always been really passionate about encouraging growth, and it's really lovely to hear the member numbers staying quite buoyant here, and we're seeing new people come through. Four-wheel drive clubs allow people who enter our hobby to do it safely, and we had mention of that terrible accident that happened earlier this week, or late last week, one of the two. These sorts of groups prevent that sort of thing from happening. And we all know over the last 2 years there's been a lot of people enter our hobby. So it's something that I'm really passionate about, pushing people into four-wheel drive clubs. So look, my name's Callan. There's a lot of wonderful familiar faces here, but a couple that are new as well. Club 4x4, like I said, is 7 years old. I was involved in it right from the beginning. Super passionate about it. What I want to do tonight is just go through a couple of slides to help everyone understand what makes us different, why we exist, and some of I call it fairy dust. I remember writing the PDS for this product, and it was really a case of looking at all of the different motor products in the market, making sure that what we were offering at a very basic level was at parity with the market, and then adding the fairy dust on top. The fairy dust is really what makes us special. It's really what makes us geared towards the four-wheel driver. I do also, for those of you who have seen these slides before, I do have some new stuff at the end. Andrew alluded to it. I like to be really fluid with this stuff, so please throw your hand up if you have a question and ask. I will stay here till the end if anyone wants to have more of a one-on-one conversation. All right, first slide, please. Okay, so we touched on the agenda. We'll talk about the difference and a little bit about what's new. Next slide, please. Oh, one before. Wonderful. Okay, so look, this slide here I feel is the most important, and as Land Cruiser owners, you're going to understand why. So when we insure our vehicles, why do we do that? When we insure our asset, why do we insure it? Anyone? So we can get a replacement. Fantastic. Now, a general insurance product will cover you for the value of the vehicle, right? So I mentioned Land Cruiser owners very specifically for a reason, because during COVID I remember a period where we would get dozens of phone calls a week from customers. There might be people here that made that phone call to say, the market has gone crazy. I could never replace my vehicle for the value that's on your policy, Mr. Club 4x4, or on my policy with AAMI, or whoever else it might be. And we saw that in anticipation of the 300. Everyone was a little bit upset about losing 2 cylinders. But also new people entering the hobby, supply and demand issues that we've seen and we're still suffering. We saw potentially a 20% increase. I'm not going to call it a balloon because I don't want to upset people. We saw up to a 20% increase in vehicle value alone, right? This is before we put mods on. Who here has a completely standard vehicle? You had that beautiful 40 outside, did you? I knew it. Don't change it, leave it the way it is. So everyone here modifies or accessorises their vehicle, whether it's as simple as adding a radio or whether it is, you know, a little bit more extreme. And it's not uncommon for us to see a vehicle these days, well, in fact, right from the beginning, but it's a whole lot more prevalent today, where someone buys a brand new, let's call it a 79 series, $72,000, $73,000 sticker price. They don't take delivery until it's gone around the country, and you're looking at $150,000 of mods added to the vehicle before you take delivery. It's not uncommon. What makes us really special in terms of your sum insured? Because at the end of the day, going back to the start of this piece, you're insuring because you want to be able to replace that vehicle or replace that asset if the worst were to happen. A vehicle can be repaired up to that total vehicle value, but if it were to disappear, or if the worst were to happen and it has to be total lost, then the sum insured on your policy is perhaps the most important component of your insurance policy. If you've got an $80,000 vehicle with $20,000 in mods, but your insurance certificate says $80,000 in total cover, are you fully insured? Anyone? Nope. The difference between Club 4x4 and the way a general insurer will cover you is that we take the vehicle value. Now, I've noted a $69,000 agreed value up there. We do agreed or market, whichever one you prefer, just like every other insurer. But the next question that we ask is, have you got any modifications or accessories? In the case of our Raptor, it's probably about $20,000 worth of gear on it. So this is an example that demonstrates the way that we would insure that particular vehicle, and that is for a total sum insured of $89,000. Vehicle value, modification value. You add it together. If the worst were to happen, you're covered for your total investment. Now, I've spoken to a lot of people over the last 7 years, and they say, oh, yeah, my insurer covers the mods. Well, what does that mean? Well, I asked them, and they will. Cool. What's your car worth on the market without the mods? Oh, it's worth 60. What's the sum insured on your paperwork? It's 60. You're not covered. You might be covered if you have a little bingle and it needs to be repaired, but if you lost the whole lot, you're not covered for your total asset value. This is really, really important stuff. If you don't have that covered, then at least be aware. At least walk away aware. If you're happy to wear the risk of the 20,000 in mods, that's fine, but just be aware. Next slide, please. The next thing, off-road coverage. So, gazetted, non-gazetted, cross-country, these are all terms that have been proliferated by the insurance industry since day dot. Who here knows what a gazetted road is? Tough crowd today. Come on, Andy, help me out, mate. One that's on a map? Yep. Perfect. Perfect. So say you were to have an incident. Sorry, I'm wandering a lot. I keep reminding myself. Say you have an incident and you call your insurance company and you're going to lodge a claim. Do you think that that person on the end of the phone is really going to know? What map are they looking on? What software are they looking at? When we started this product, it was about really building a product that was truly tailored to the four-wheel drive enthusiast. And that means you could be going from one track to another. Who here knows if you're covered at Willow Glen? Willow Glen's private property. These are all just questions that you need to ask. If you're not with a specialised insurer, these are the questions you need to ask.
Swap, mate.
No worries. Thank you. Hello. So where you're covered is incredibly important. So for us, it's very clear. You could be anywhere. As long as you're not going into a closed track, because that doesn't help anyone in our industry. As long as you're not trespassing or doing something illegal at the time. Now this means rock, sand, mud, snow, everything in between, private property. You're covered wherever you want to be as long as you're not doing the wrong thing. Next slide, please. So personal effects. So we carry a lot of gear around with us. If it's not fixed to the car, which a lot of it is, if you were to peel the top off your car and turn it upside down, the sorts of things that would fall out are navigators, recovery gear, sunnies, tire deflators, tents, all sorts of gear that we carry around when we're going touring. How would you replace that stuff if it got lost or stolen? With great difficulty. Probably have to pay for it yourself. So our product, who here has a home insurance policy? All of us, hopefully. Who has a contents policy? Who has ever elected to have the portable valuables coverage on a content policy? It usually happens when you first get married to cover that god-awful ring you had to buy. I'm joking, thank God my wife's not here. So what we have as part of this motor policy is very similar to that portable valuables policy, right? So anywhere in Australia, you could be with it or not, if it gets lost or stolen, your portable valuables are covered. So there's $2,000 worth of cover in every policy we sell. It's basic. You can up that to 5 and 10 depending on the type of trip you're doing. Next slide, please. So this is another big one, off-road recovery cover. So I recently did a trip to the Simpson, across the Simpson actually on the Boring Way, so QAA and French Line, still wonderful. When you're out in some of these places, let's just use the Simpson. So say you break down and you're not lucky to be on an awesome trip from TLCC where you've got 10 other guys that can help you out. If you were to break down on a dirt road and you had no other way of getting out, how would you get out? Sorry. Call someone? Yep. A lot of people say my roadside assistance. What a lot of people don't know is that every single roadside assistance policy in Australia has an exclusion for dirt. Now I've had people say, yeah, well I had diamond or platinum cover with one of the motoring clubs and they came out. Some of them do. A lot of them don't. The exclusion's there. If it's not suitable for a two-wheel drive tow vehicle, they won't come. Well, they don't have to come because it's in their paperwork. Now, in that particular case, let's say the Simpson, and I know Barnesy sort of hung up his boots and sold the Roadhouse a couple of years back, and that big man truck is actually, it didn't go with the business. So there's the guys from the Bursville Roadhouse now go out with a trailer and a 79, you'll all be very happy to hear. And they try and fix it in there, and if they can't, they'll bring it out on a trailer, which to me is just incredibly, I just can't see how you do that, given the conditions that I was in about a month back. That could cost you $400 an hour for you to do that, right? So off-road recovery cover is designed to fill a gap. Roadside won't come out, right? You need to get to a sealed road for roadside to come to you. What this product does is it allows you to arrange the recovery and send us the invoice. Every single policy we sell has $1,500 worth of this included. Now, that's not going to get you far in the Simpson, but you can up that to $15,000 or $30,000. So you're going on a huge trip, you can up that for a nominal fee and it gets you covered. A great example of a claim we had was over in Western Australia. It took 18 hours and 2 trucks to get out to you're going to hate this, it was a Prado, and it was bogged to the axles. They were only 50 metres off the road. They'd had inadvertently come off the road, horrible conditions, and they just couldn't get out. They were communicating with us by sat phone. And that cost, I think, that cost $18,500, that recovery. They were lucky they had the $15,000 worth of cover, so they were only out of pocket $3,500. $15,000, let alone $18,000, will put an end to my holidays for a long time. So just something to consider. So off-road recovery cover. Next slide, please. A couple of other things that I'd just like to go through here. So we do also offer camper, trailer, caravan and slide-on cover if you're the type that likes to tow. Choice of repairer. Look, I've been a car guy as long as I can remember. My parents found me bashing up Hot Wheels in the garage pretending to be a repairer. Choice of repairer is incredibly important to me, and it should be important to all of us, in my opinion. If you love your vehicle, you want to take it to your guy, our product allows that. The 4x4 product allows that. New for 2 years. Like I said, this is a market parity product at the core of it. So if you buy a new vehicle, it'll be replaced. If we can't get that vehicle anymore, then you can have a substitute or you can get a payout. But new for new is included. Now, I heard about the driver training report earlier on. Now, I know that this club is one of the few that is actually an RTO, and that's wonderful. Because if you're trained and you have the qualification from this club, you can get up to 20% off our 4x4 policy. If you're doing it from somewhere else, it's got to be an RTO, and it's a qualification is what you require. So up to 20% off. If you do the towing training, it's up to 10% off on your camper, trailer or caravan policy. Importantly, there's up to 10% off, and these are all cumulative. So if you're lucky enough to have done all of these, they do accumulate. So for a 4x4 policy, if you've got the, if you've done the off-road driver training, it's 20% off. If you're a member here and you get it through the portal, you get 5% off because we've got an arrangement. And if you have multiple assets, they all accumulate altogether. So combine the 200 with the trailer, you get up to 10% off the combination, not the second asset, the combination of the two. So the whole policy gets discounted. A couple of other things, so, bouncing. I put my hand up too high, didn't I? Sorry. The last thing that we have is what we call our safety shop. This is kind of our reward program. So as a policyholder, you get access to a shop where we source items that are safety related, and they're heavily discounted. So we partner with organisations that we work with to get it at a really strong rate, and we pass that on. It's not about making money, it's about providing products to our members and customers. Next slide, when you're ready, please. So what's new? So I mentioned roadside assistance earlier on. I'm pretty sure at one of my prior talks here, I would have said, yeah, we have roadside, but I'm not really happy with it. It's not the greatest product because I like to be open with these sorts of things. About 12 months ago, we launched our new roadside product. So in the process of pulling this together, for us, it was what are the things that are important to our type of customer? And in looking at the landscape, if I think about it, if I'm out there and I need assistance, there's two things that are going to be really, really relevant to me right now. The first is the distance of towing, right? Because where we are, we can be quite remote. So getting to the nearest repairer with 50 Ks or 100 Ks, it could be a little bit sketchy. So you want to have that extra distance. What we did was we went to 150 kilometres towing to the nearest repairer. That is capable of fixing your vehicle, given the distances that we all travel. The other big one that we really stopped and thought about, a lot of the market have like a 3 tonne or 3.5 tonne limit. Some of them are even lower. So my concern there is our vehicles can be quite heavy. Right? So they're heavy out of the box and we're adding stuff to them. So for us, the logical move was to go right up to what the limit is for a Class C licence, which is 4.5 tonne in your GVM. So that takes away any uncertainty. So part of this is to make sure that everyone's going to be covered appropriately with a modified passenger type vehicle, but also we were having customers come through with canters and things like that, which are a little bit heavier. So this was just about taking away that uncertainty. We are running heavier. We've got to make sure that everyone's going to be appropriately covered. The other part that was a real gap when I looked at all of the different providers out there was your caravan or your trailer. So if you're towing a trailer, you'd hear some really horrible stories where they'd come and tow the vehicle and you're on your own or you've got to pay to have your trailer towed. So what we negotiated in our agreement with our provider was, if they're towing, we want to make sure that we take that trailer as well. So if you have roadside with us, if you let them know that you have a trailer, they will send the right kind of truck that's capable of taking your vehicle and the trailer as well, up to 4 tonne for the van. So really tailored product. Other smaller things, so you know, the market uses usually about 5 litres of fuel. Again, distances. Let's get a little bit more fuel in. And the transporter keys, again, they're either sending the keys to you or they're paying for someone to get the keys to you. Let's think about the distances that we're travelling here. So a little bit of a more generous transport allowance for the transport of keys. This product for us is $144.95, which I think is pretty strong on the market. So just something to think about. You can't buy it without the motor product, so it has to be part of, you know, you buy the motor product and then you get access to the roadside. But a really strong proposition that has gone incredibly strongly, well, way stronger than what we ever thought, which is wonderful. So this was a recent addition. Next slide, please. And then Andy alluded to it before, daily drive. So this is something that a lot of people over the years have mentioned. Well, I've got this other car, can you cover? Yes? Yes. Mm-hmm. Fantastic question. So for us, it's still specific to a vehicle. So I know that there's providers out there, it's kind of like a subscription. So you pay and any vehicle that you have will be covered. For us, it's specific to the vehicle. Really good question. So daily drive. So a lot of people would say, love what you guys are doing, love that you're part of the community, love that you're authentic and you're taking care of four-wheel drivers. But I've also got this little Corolla. Sorry, Andy. I've got this little Ford Fiesta. Would you cover that as well? So this was a long time in the making. So the notion here is we are all about the four-wheel drive enthusiast, and the four-wheel drive enthusiast is the core. Our four-wheel drive product and our trailer product is about the core product that we need as part of our hobby and part of our lifestyle. But we all have a whole lot of other needs as enthusiasts. Daily drive was the first cab off the rank. So if you have another vehicle that's non-off-road capable, so that's really important, it's a non-off-road capable vehicle in your home, like a Fiesta or whatever it might be, we can now cover that. And the beauty is you can add it to your single policy. So say you've got the Land Cruiser and you've got the other vehicle, it goes on the same policy, same expiry date, same payments, and you get up to 10% off the whole lot. All right. Look, choice of repairer with this product is absolutely available, but you can also take it off. So if that daily run around isn't as important to you, or you're okay for that to go through our recommended repairer network, which we vet and we stand by, then you can save a little bit of coin and just remove that off to your daily drive product. Yes?
Just wait, excuse me, wait until the microphone gets
sorry.
to you.
I keep killing the microphones? Oh, no.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I've got my four-wheel drive done with Club 4x4.
Thank you.
And I've got a camper trailer with Club 4x4.
Thank you.
But my missus has got a Subaru Outback.
Yep.
Which is a daily driver, but it's also a four-wheel drive, sort of. I haven't got that insured with Club 4x4. Where does that sit with all this hierarchy of daily drives and four-wheel drives and all that sort of stuff?
So the Outback would fall into this product.
The daily drive?
Yep. So it's absolutely off-road capable, but when I say off-road capable, I'm talking low range, or its equivalent in this day and age. We know that there's all sorts of variations and capability with an all-wheel drive vehicle like a Ford Everest per se, but that sort of vehicle is right smack bang into this space.
So then, just so that I'm clear on what's happening, I get the 10% for my vehicle and the camper trailer. that's an across
So
the
say
total value of the insurance for both?
Yep, so if you added the Outback to the two existing assets, you'd get up to 10% off all three, all in one, because it goes into one policy that has multiple assets hanging off it.
Yeah, so instead of being 2,000, it's 3,000, and I get 10% on
Correct.
3,000 sort of thing.
Correct. And 5% off for being part of the club.
Yeah. And one thing I learned tonight was about the tow training. So if we do tow training, I get 10% off
That's right.
as well. So
Yep.
that's really worthwhile.
Yep,
'Cause
absolutely.
We actually offer a towing course, Bob, don't we? We do a towing course, don't we?
Sorry, it's not covered by us as an RTO, but the towing course, it's uncredited, but it is a good towing course. You know.
Yeah, it'd have to be accredited to get the discount. Yep.
Do outside of basic driver training non-accredited courses, whether it be chainsaw course, anything.
Fantastic. So that's our daily drive. So a couple of interesting additions in the 2 or 3 years that I haven't been here. So that's kind of the new stuff that's happening at Club 4x4. And that is really the end of my presentation. Any questions at all? Sorry, mate. Yep.
This side first.
Yep, no problem.
How do you treat native title in terms of whether it's private property or what is it? Probably an example would be you've got your permit to drive through the property, but then or through the native title area, but then you're going to camp at night, so you get off the road a bit and something happens. How would you treat that?
No problem.
No problem?
No problem whatsoever, because you're permitted to be in there.
Yeah, well, it's a permit to drive the road though, not necessarily to go, off, say, 500 metres or something to find somewhere quiet to camp.
Well, are you allowed to camp in there?
Generally what they say is you can camp, but no more than 30 metres off the road.
Right. Okay.
So you'd have to abide by that?
Look, I think the right thing to do is to abide by the rules within which you're allowed to be there.
So as long as you're within their bounds?
Correct.
You're okay. All right, thank you.
In that case, for me, it's very similar to not going into a closed track, right? It gives me the same feeling, right? So it's about doing the right thing. Yep. I think there was one over here too.
Thank you. The driver assist program. At the moment, four-wheel drive that I have with my wife is pretty well the family car as well as a bit of off-road.
Yep.
Now, the driver assist program, I have a separate policy for my wife in case she got a flat tyre while she's out. Obviously, she would find it difficult to change a tyre on that.
Yep.
So is that something that's in a 4x4 policy, or?
So the roadside assistance is what you're mentioning there, is that
Yeah.
right? I'm trying to recall if we actually had I'm pretty sure we do have if you have a flat tyre or a flat battery, there is a provision for that. But I might just get Dave to have a quick look. I hate to give misinformation, but let me clarify that before the end of the night. If that's okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Wait.
Kaylin, what do you want from the members to prove that they're eligible for those different discounts, the 10%, the 20% and all that? Like, I'm one of the driving instructors, so I don't know exactly, because as you know, I've got my Prado and our T-van with you. We've had it from day one. I'm not dead certain that I'm getting those discounts.
Okay.
To get the other discounts, the towing course, I don't know if there's any, like Alfie does the towing course and so does the Maltese. What's issued to say that they've done the towing course that you need to see so that these discounts can be provided to the members?
Yep. It's generally a certificate which proves that certification and the qualification codes on it.
Issue those certificates. Bob? Do we issue other than driver training?
We do, but we offer certificates as an RTO for basic driver training. We certify that somebody has done advanced or has done a towing course, but it's not an ASQA course that we teach. Simple as that.
It might be worth diving into this a little bit more and understanding exactly what, by hearing what you just said, Bob, it's not actually a qualification code that is delivered on the piece of paper, is that right?
That is correct.
Right, okay. So for us, it's got to be delivered by an RTO and have the code on it. Yep, it's good to clarify that.
Just wait, please.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so one thing that hasn't been asked is how much. Okay, so I've got a $100,000 car.
Mm-hmm.
How much is it going to cost to insure it? Because I think that's the question that everybody wants to know.
Absolutely.
So much is telling us that it's going to cost next to nothing.
No, because I'd be lying if I said that.
Yeah. $50,000.
Yep.
So, assuming that I've got a $100,000 car,
mm-hmm.
what's the premiums going to be for that?
So it's really hard to answer that question and be real. What I can tell you is the average premium in New South Wales is about $1,350, right? But there is, there's 25 different factors that go into an individual quote. So it's really hard to answer that question. But the average in New South Wales at the highest level, and I'm not even talking vehicle value here, at the highest level in New South Wales, our average premium is $1,350. But your premium might be $1,000. Someone else's premium over there might be $2,000, and the other one might be $3,000. So the average is all I can give you, mate.
So how do we obtain that figure? We give you a call, do we?
Absolutely. So there should be a link available through the club, and I can speak to Andy about that, understand, on the website. If you use that link, it'll help you generate a call back from us, and we'll call you out at your convenience. Doing it that way ensures that you get your 5% discount, because when you use the link, it pre-populates the system with the code for TLCC. So that's the best way to do it, and we'll get back to you and go through a quotation.
I have a comment here at the back. This is the cameraman. It's a comment rather than a question. I'm over here. Hang on, I'll just get the camera on you. That's it. I recently joined Club 4x4.
Thank you.
So I've got a bit of an answer to Stuart there. I heard some challenging things about Club 4x4 and I was very scared to call.
Mm-hmm.
But when I did so because Virgin Insurance declined my vehicle. The year before, they approved it. This year, they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Because of modifications. Suddenly, they said, no, we can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And my next call was to you guys because I knew of the affiliation. And the level of service was not good. It was outstanding. The girl on the phone immediately knew my vehicle. She knew what I was talking about. She knew about my modifications. She was friendly. She took the time. She went through so many questions and talked to me. It was really quite amazing. And I'd heard some things from people saying, Club 4, no. Complete opposite. And the final amount came out lower than Virgin Insurance. Mm-hmm. So I could, and it was lower than what I'd budgeted for, so I could increase. I said, I've got some more budget here, what can we do extra? So I think I increased the towing capacity or something like that. So I just want to say thank you, because very, very happy customer here.
Thank you.
And I was very nervous about it, so you blew my mind. Well done.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Really appreciate that feedback. Look, it helps to dive in and try yourself. But no, thank you. Thank you for those thoughts. Yes?
Use the mic.
One more question.
Sure.
Last meeting we had an interesting talk by the representatives from the road safety, and we talked a lot about modification of cars.
Mm-hmm.
Does it affect the policy and the modifications if they're not engineered? Or what are the engineering requirements for the various fitments that we do to the car? Because it seems to be becoming an increasing area of attention.
Absolutely, and a really, really good question. So we've been asked this a fair bit. Now, the interesting thing about modifying a vehicle or a four-wheel drive, yes, there is a whole lot more focus than there has been over the last couple of years in certain areas of Sydney. And really, it's always been something that everyone needs to think about. If your vehicle's engineered, as far as I'm concerned, it's a factory vehicle. That's the way that I look at it. Now, you could go to multiple different states around this country, and what we do is we travel, right? So something that is acceptable legally in New South Wales may not be so in another state, which presents a real challenge for all of us as vehicle owners and people that like to modify or accessorise and be fit for purpose. For us, it was really difficult to ascertain what sort of stance we should take. So early in the piece it was, well, let's advise. The challenge with that is you might have 6 different states, 6 different laws. Advising was going to be really difficult. So the stance that we took with modifications at Club 4x4 was always a contributory stance, right? And what that means in simple terms is, if the modification that you've done can be deemed illegal where your accident happened, and it contributed to the incident that you're trying to claim, then it's something that'll be looked at. Now, a great example is if you're too tall. So if you're lifted, higher than what the legalities are, and funnily enough, this is an area that there's probably more uniformity across the states than other modifications and accessories that we do to a vehicle. In that sort of case, if you were to tip your vehicle, one could attribute the fact that you were too tall to that incident. Now, if you were too tall and you backed into a bollard in a car park, it can't be contributory. So for us, it's understanding that people do modify vehicles, understanding that sometimes they can be deemed as illegal in different states in the country. It's got to be contributory. So if you're not legal, you're not engineered, if it contributes to the claim, you can expect to be asked some questions. If it couldn't have contributed to it, we're not about trying not to pay claims. Yep. Yes.
You said you would be willing to stay back behind.
Yes.
And ask questions.
Yes.
So if anybody else has any other questions, we
Sure.
might just cut it short there.
Done.
And you're prepared to take them
Absolutely.
outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it.
Sally, Sergeant at Arms. Oh, why don't we give that to Sally?
Thank you, Ricky. Hello, everybody. I'll start off with the birthday roll call. We have quite a few birthdays in August. My husband, Noel Rippingale, Gloria White, Jan Le Riviere, Elaine Cattell, Heidi Rowley, and a very special one, Ian Ferguson, who is 70, but he's down in Jamboree. So let's give them a clap. Happy birthday. We have 6 fantastic fruit and vegetable hampers here. Thanks, Katie, for getting them for us. I'm going to ask Dave, would you like to come up here and draw the raffle tickets, please, Dave? Thanks, Dave. It's an honour to have you here.
Give it a nice spin.
Yes, for sure.
Randomised, I'll do both hands.
I'll do. Witness. Yes. And we have Norma Ferguson to take the names of the lucky raffle winners. And the first raffle ticket winner is, Dave?
We have a blue ticket, D14. D14.
We have a winner. That is good.
Congratulations. Thank you. Shake your hand, I'll take your D14, and then a pick of the trays, I believe.
Right, exactly. You do have to pick a tray. Next one, Dave.
Here we go. No looking, no peeking. We have a red spades ticket, 45B. 45B.
We have a lucky raffle winner here. Doing a good job, Dave. Continue your good work.
Trying my best. Congratulations.
You'll have to come again, Dave and Caroline.
Happy to help.
The next raffle ticket, yes.
Another red spade ticket, and it's 98B. 98B.
Next one, Dave.
Name tag makes it easy to identify, doesn't it? Very official. Okay. Back to the blue tickets this time, and it's D38. D38.
Oh, Cole. Well done, Cole.
Congratulations.
Well, Dave, you made this an art form. This is wonderful.
I like to add some pizzazz, you know, if we're here. So we have our final ticket, another blue ticket. It is D01. D01. Oh. Second last, my mistake. Thank you for keeping me honest up here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And
The congratulatory handshake doesn't carry the same value as the tray, but I feel it's pretty close.
And the lucky last is
another red spade ticket. It's 83B. 83B. Oh, well done.
fantastic.
I'll shake your hand. Congratulations. There you go.
Well, that was fantastic, Dave. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me up.
Absolute pleasure. So we'll see you all next meeting. Back to Bob.
Thank you very much, Sally. Wonderfully done. And thank you very much to the suppliers of the fruit trays and to Club 4x4. So is there any other business? Am I going to be cutting anybody off? I will declare the meeting closed. Next meeting will be at here, the Liberty Hill Church, on Monday the 5th of September. Thank you very much.